Perfect. So let's just kind of see how this goes. We haven't seen Alyssa.
I will say I had it in my head that it was next week, and I'm glad I double checked. And saw it was today. So I don't know if maybe she could just be running late.
Could just be running late. Yeah. I think because she sent in her email, well, Liz confirmed it was I see you tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
think she knew.
Oh, okay.
Dwayne, my iCloud needs my phone's code. You're laughing. Isn't that backward? I'll give you her. I'm opening the contract. She has the phone number. Can you send her a message?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. Okay.
See here.
Not this page. Okay, got it. It's my message chat. It's Windows. So annoying.
Thank you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Did you hear that, James? You're sweet.
Oh, here she is.
Okay. Ah, just as I got her number down.
Hello, I'm so sorry.
Hello, how are you, Alyssa?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
I was stressing about not
Busy
having my
day.
phone and trying to find your phone number.
Um,
And of course, just as I was putting it in the chat, you showed up. It's just like everything in life. We could just allow time to play it out. Then
yeah,
we have to do something.
I emailed you. I couldn't find your phone number either.
My phone is not with me right now, somewhere.
Me neither. Sorry.
You're okay. Well, how about we begin with a mindfulness? Maybe that would be um, helpful. Um, and then we could kind of get started and see where we would like to go. Um, so, and I would invite you um, to kind of do this however feels most comfortable for you. You can do this with your eyes open or closed or not at all. It's totally up to you. These are just some options for you. And I would just like to invite you to notice what it's like being here today. And kind of, if possible, just with like a sense of curiosity, notice where your attention goes as we are here now. Maybe there's something inside your room or outside your room. Maybe there's a meeting or something occupying your mind, settling in here today. Just notice what is here for you. Notice Perhaps I would invite you to notice if there was something you'd like to do different to make this moment a little better for you. It's up to you. Maybe this moment is perfect the way it is. Or maybe there's something that is weighing on your mind that you'd like to be able to set aside. Be curious, if at all possible, and I invite you just to notice what feels natural to you. Allow your system to become aware of this moment, of what you have here now. As you're noticing your system, and perhaps an idea pops in your mind of something that would make it a little easier for you. We're all familiar now. Sometimes people enjoy a container. Maybe there's a container that you're particularly fond of that you could put this in if that feels comfortable for you. Some people enjoy imagining putting it outside the door and letting it sit there in the waiting room for me. That's my personal favorite. Let it be my waiting room. Do whatever feels natural for you. As you're doing whatever feels natural for you, I invite you to be curious about what changes within the system. You become more aware of this moment, or something shifts within you. I would invite you to be curious about that. Whatever way feels safe or right for you. And perhaps as we're going into this training, I'm curious if part of your answer is here. That becomes a big part of our discussion of who we are and where we just be curious. That feels okay. And as we're noticing this, it feels comfortable for you. I would invite you to notice if there's something else that might need to help you be more present, to allow you to feel more comfortable in this room. Perhaps it might be as much as just needing a drink of water, tea. It's just to shift in your chair and do whatever feels. As we're noticing this wonderful moment here, curiosity, I invite you to allow yourself to become more aware of where we're at now in the room. And just notice what it's be like as we begin this meeting. And if your eyes are open, closed, I invite you to be present. And when I get back to 1, count back slowly from 5. 5, 3, how was that for anybody would like to share what came up for them?
Nothing really for me.
Okay,
I,
great.
I've been more intentional about ending my busy schedule earlier, giving myself some time in between, and that helps a lot. So not feeling as frazzled as I usually am at the beginning. So yeah, so
Perfect.
feeling more
Th-
present.
That's great. Thank you, Becky, for sharing.
Um, I'm just kind of struggling. My brother's in the ER right now, and that's where I was. I just, ugh, that's all I keep thinking about. He's been staying with me for a few days. He's going through alcohol withdrawal, and so I'm just kind of that's on my mind. So I'm sorry for my lack of presence.
You're okay. I am sorry to hear that. That is difficult. It's very
Yeah.
difficult.
I'm glad he's somewhere safe though. Yeah.
Yes. Glad he's getting help.
And thank you for sharing that, right? Feeling safe enough and okay enough to share some vulnerable. And that's what's occupying your mind. Just acknowledge this moment. I was noticing a lot. And I was just, my mind was active than usual, actually. First, I was thinking, oh, I'm hearing there's invitation, and there's also, I'm hearing some invitation to resource or find to make this moment more comfortable. And I started wondering, um, what is, well, how is that adaptive? We want to make things easier or to make this moment a little different, even though it's wanting to be better. As you invited me to notice what I'm not, my answer might be here. I first resisted, like, no, I'm thinking I'm noticing your answer. Then a step back. Oh, I guess my answer is maybe the opposite. That's what I'm. That's what makes me good at EMDR. I can nudge people to go towards discomfort. And at the same time, I'm noticing a layer of criticism or just a little bit. Oh, I can do that and get out of, we're not really following our nonviolence principle. So layers and layers. And as you invited to come back to this present moment, I was also noticing, a little tension here and overall heating up, even warmer than I actually sat outside for lunch. Didn't feel that warm, but just a few minutes of stress looking for my phone, that's really heating me up. And of course, I notice another layer of answer. Yeah, I know exactly what to do to make this moment more comfortable. I can close the shade, I can turn up the fan, I can turn down the thermostat. And then I also notice, do I really need to do something to change this moment? Maybe not. Maybe as I come back to regulation, this wave of heat is going to be gone. So this is activated. Of course, this part was busy. So that's my noticing.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we do have very different answers, don't we, Liz?
Yeah.
Um, and what was for me is, I'm good at nudging people toward it. But sometimes the things that are here right now, this is one that um, I don't remember when Deb and I, I did this with something with Deb. I'm trying to remember when. And she's like, Dwayne, sometimes you just need to be here. And I have a hard time being present because I'm always thinking, okay, I've got 32 things here. I've got all these projects I got to do. I've got 6 emails left to write today. And so allowing me just to center and be here. And it was hard in the beginning because I could feel um, a lot pulling me a lot of different directions today. And so for me to ground myself in this moment and allow whatever's left to be here that I can work on in this moment is very helpful for me. So thank you all for sharing your experience. I appreciate that. Um, Sounds like there's been quite a few uh, things going on in all of our lives this week, this month. Um, Real quick, just before we dive heavy in and try and pull back out and end this at the end and scramble, just some business. And I haven't even had a chance to tell you, Liz, because this just came up. It's just a scheduling thing for next month. I was asked to help with another training, and which would pull me away from being able to meet the first Monday, what is today, a Wednesday, first Wednesday of, um, let's see here, September's next. I have to think what month is
We're
next.
scheduled to meet next on the 18th of September.
Oh, did we change that to the 18th of September already?
I think it's,
Usually the first, isn't it usually the first Wednesday?
oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong, that's the team
I mean,
meeting.
I'm
Sorry,
good.
that's the PTI team meeting. Right, first Wednesday, September 4th. I'm sorry.
Correct. And so I won't be able to meet with y'all that day because I'm helping with another training. If
Okay.
it's okay with you all to move it to the 11th, I'm happy to do that. We don't need an answer right now.
I have a training that week.
Perfect. Perfect. So then should we just keep it that week and I will see you in 2. I just wanted to get that one all out of the way.
Um, I'm open to meet on the 18th. Or Dwayne, what's your preference? Yeah, we can also check everybody's schedule with another alternative.
Right.
I can
I
do
can
that.
meet. My schedule's really easy to change to answer you, Liz. Sorry to interrupt you, Becky.
Oh, that's okay. The 18th would work for me fine.
I see Alyssa nodding her head. Okay,
Yeah, that
would
would
that
probably be better for me actually, because the first week of school is the 4th. So like hopping out early of the school day probably wouldn't be very easy.
Okay. So
perfect?
we're changing it to the 18th.
That will work.
Okay.
Change out my schedule. Perfect. And then before we jump to um, case review, I've also wondered, I know life gets really busy and kind of if it's okay with you, invite you to, we can do something different. But kind of explore, it seems like this last month kind of got away from us and wonder how our answer was coming up this last month with um, getting in the videos, the feedback forms. I wonder how that process is going for everybody. I welcome feedback if it feels comfortable for you.
doing the video and like seeing my client isn't the hard part. It's the transcript part and subtitles. Like every time I go to do it, it takes me like half an hour to figure out how to do it again on my computer, and then like going through and typing it all with a client therapist took a while. Um, so that's just like I really hate doing that part. Um, takes a long time, but
Okay,
I don't.
am I doing it wrong? Because I'm just copying and pasting the transcript onto a Word document.
Well,
And
it's not correct on my part. Like this title, the words aren't all correct, so I have to like go through and rewatch the whole video and listen and
oh,
edit. And then also, it doesn't just download onto a Word document nicely. It's like 54 pages for me. Is yours 54 pages?
I don't think so. No, that can't even be close to that.
It's just not working out very nicely for me, the
It does.
transcript piece.
It takes a minute to, like, I had to wait for the whole video to download, and that took a while because then I had to wait for it to not download, but just load. And then it had to finish to get the transcript. So it's like I finally get it down, and a month later, I'm like, how did I do that again? Like, what did I do last month? So it's time consuming, yes.
Yeah. So that's just the part that I have a hard time making time for.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tend to get with the partner that I'm using too late in the month, and then we're scrambling at the last minute. So I apologize for that. And she and I talked about it last night, and I just said I gotta start doing this like a week earlier. So, and she's very cool, very easy to work with. So I apologize for that. So I'm making an effort to get that done much earlier. So
Perfect. And it's not required. This is
um,
for Liz and I, and maybe I'm speaking out of line, Liz. But for me personally, I want to be here and help you. Um, and understanding how, like, I guess I just kind of shared part of my answer. My mind's never in the present moment very often. It's often elsewhere. And so that kind of jumbles up a lot of my thoughts. And so me being able to help, so I'm pulling in a lot of stuff. So I've had to learn to reduce stuff for my own answer. So I can be more present when I need to be present, to be there. And when like last night, I was unable to watch either the videos. And so I just want to be there the best I can for you. Um, and so, and that's what transcript, I apologize. We don't mean this to be a heavy burden to transcribe it. Um, we're also interested, it's part of our training and helping to learn how to work through this. Did I overspeak you, Liz? I hope I didn't put words in your mouth that were wrong. Go ahead. You have a hand up. Hey, look at that.
Thank you for, well, yeah, it is, we would like to review the material beforehand, and it's not required, yet we can still get, we use whatever we, life is hard enough. Um, and I'm hearing new experiences, like you are having this conversation with your partner, and you are recognizing what you can do to improve.
mhm.
Um, what I'm hearing from specifically Alyssa, it is, I hear you. For me, I was so self-conscious about my English as I was practicing. None of the sentences, like every sentence, even just a very short sentence, except for the go with that, maybe I could feel like, okay, it's every time YouTube gets it right, every sentence I had to retype, correct spelling, all that. Um, but it is a lot time consuming. At the same time, I think I hear some feeling like this is not this is additional work, or this is not worth the time. I wonder if this feels familiar in some way, and is there an alternative uh, to that?
I think it's helpful to rewatch my videos because I pick up on things that I did or could do better. So I do see the benefit of that. It's just, going through and the transcript and all that is just kind of annoying to me, but that's not like something that I can't deal with. It's just something I have to work through and not procrastinate because it takes me a lot longer than, and it's very annoying that I'm not good at it because I'm good at technology stuff. I do stuff very fast normally, and I can't do it fast, and that's annoying to me. Um, so I just gotta get over it and do it. It's not a big deal. But that's just my excuse for being late.
That's such a good awareness that you almost have this pride that I'm good at technology. I usually get things click, 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 figure out, and somehow getting this transcript or something, I forget, or I don't know. It's just then our relationship with this task almost makes it even harder or taking longer.
Well, I think too, when it's last minute and rushing to get it done, it's that much more annoying that it's not happening quickly. So, yeah,
So
Yes,
true. So true. Yeah.
yeah.
it is true.
Yeah.
Try to teach my daughters that all the time. So we get done early.
Still trying to teach myself that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and it is like stuff that you probably talk to your students about this too, Alyssa. Like that you're sacrificing quality when you're doing it at the last minute and quickly. Like the earlier you start, the better quality. I mean, that's the students and our kids, but
Yeah. Well,
mhm.
in my head, I'm like, well, I did the task. I met with my client. I did what they wanted me to do. And so I'm like, oh, I'm good. And then I'm like, well, I got to submit that. And I'm like, oh, the transcript and it's just in my head, it shouldn't take that long, but it takes me a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'll just get in my head that I mean, that's not all of it by just meeting with my client and
Yeah, I guess I've just been trusting that YouTube was translating it correctly. Like I literally haven't been looking through it. So oops.
they
You
miss like
probably,
entire sentences. But
oh,
you are also doing it telehealth, so you probably have better outcome than me.
okay. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
here we
There's,
are. Yeah, there are things in life it just takes time or painful, but doesn't necessarily have to be a suffering. And we're not dismissing that it's hard, it takes time, it takes energy. And I'm just inviting if we can notice some of our relationship with this is getting in the way of it's just being as hard as it is.
Mhm.
Back to you,
yeah.
Dave.
No, that was great, Liz. I appreciated that. It is hard when it is, because for me, Alyssa, when you were talking about, it's like I got done with the assignment and it brought me back to my own grad school days. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
well, it's done. And now you really want this extra piece. And it is hard. And it is, and we understand that. And we want to acknowledge that. We don't want to dismiss that piece of it. But it is
It's just
helpful.
like
Mhm.
it is helpful, and it's just like notes. Like I'm always behind on my notes. I mean, it's my problem.
Yeah,
Here's a trauma response as well, procrastination.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And it's a human response too.
Well, that too,
It's
yes.
part of our answer, right? It helps
Mhm.
us do things. It's a part of our life.
This reminded
Sometimes of,
me,
go ahead,
sorry,
Liz.
this just reminded me of a realization I had not so long ago, maybe earlier this year, maybe last year. Um, I was chronically late. I missed flights, I missed trains. I was chronically late for years. And it dawned on me this past year, I always kind of underestimate the transitional tasks, getting
Mhm.
my stuff ready, putting your shoes on, clothes, whatever. Then, and then realizing, how can I have a fair estimate of the time for these tasks if I was always rushing through them and not being present? Then, with that awareness, I started, okay, a few times just practice, however long it takes, one step at a time. That's what helped me a lot. Now I still be late sometimes. I have more accurate or fair estimate of how much time I need for certain tasks. I chronically undervalued or not present for.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you all for being present and sharing this. This is helpful for us. I wonder what question do you have for us if there's, as we kind of move toward case review portion of this. I wonder if someone would like to go first.
I can update on the young man that we talked about last month. So I went, I kind of like did a reset with him, like we had talked about. And I'm trying to find my notes with him. But went back and identified new, like different memories that had to do with primary, and that was like just opening up so much more. So we were able to get to some memories that involve his dad and things that his dad has done to him and said to him, and how
Hey,
that, I know, it was like, well, that was easy. So um but anyway, so we worked on that, and so we haven't started the eye movements yet, but I see him tomorrow, and we're starting with a pretty significant memory that was easily activated. So we'll see. So thank you for your help, because that, I mean, I was missing it, and then feel like I got it more. So
yay, can we celebrate
yeah,
that? That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Thank you. He's still very resistant to everything and very just, I don't feel like he's allowing himself to let it work. So that's a struggle. Um, but I'm trying. So
Done.
yeah,
Little baby steps. That's fantastic.
yeah,
And would you be okay if I ask a question? A couple follow-up questions?
sure.
Because I'm curious, when he's resistant, I wonder what comes up for you.
Well, I get frustrated with him. And but I still have some understanding to it as well because of the OCD. And that's what I know, all these things that he does and thinks are what he feels keeps him safe or keeps others safe as well. So I get that to an extent, but I'm also like, just try, just give it a shot. But he has made improvement, and I do acknowledge that, and so does he. Um, Unfortunately, and his mom understands his anxiety, his OCD, but it's his dad that doesn't. So I feel like I'm doing this a lot to please the parents, you know, to try to maybe get dad off his back. But I also want to see him be happier with his life, this young man. So yeah, it's frustrating. And I want to say, and I probably do say, Brandon, just try. But and we have a very good relationship. So and it's interesting because I can see his almost like doing the eye movements. I can almost see like a hypnosis type thing, like a very deep relaxation with him. But I'm telling you, he just won't allow himself to feel. So
Right. And it's almost that same resistant piece. Like, just go with it. Just embrace it.
yes. Once in a while when he tells me that there is a change and he's feeling differently, I'm like, yes. But then it's very short-lived. So it's yeah, we're getting there. I picked a very tough one to start with. So
Yes.
yeah.
I wonder if that's a pattern in your life.
No, not necessarily. I think I was just like thinking, of course it's me thinking and probably his parents, like, we gotta help this kid. But I do have another, of course, probably very more difficult older teen that I'm going to start EMDR with in the next couple of weeks. And that one I definitely will need some help with some consultation on her. So
And I wonder if there's a place where you might feel stuck with this young man.
with him,
Yeah, I wonder if there's questions or curiosities that you may have with him where he's at.
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of questions. Yeah, I guess he won't, because he and I have talked about the whole concept of forgiveness, which he doesn't believe in. And he especially doesn't believe in forgiving himself for anything he's ever done. Um, so yeah, I wonder why, like why he wants to punish himself. And the things he's done, they're not even that bad. You know, they're like maybe a passive thought he had, but it's just so stuck in there. Well, probably because his dad has said some pretty awful things to him. So yeah, so it's just hard for me to not understand why he doesn't want to feel better, want his life to be happier. So yeah, it's one of those where, you know, how you say, like, I feel like I'm working harder than you are. So that's definitely how it is with him.
Right. And I believe we actually talked about that last time too, a little bit.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah. And how it's kind of that impulse that they're paying you money and you're like, I gotta do this.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, yeah, because he'll bring in his copay and he'll be like, yeah, here you go. And he's like, yeah, my mom says that I really need to work harder. And then I feel bad because I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know, whatever. That's
Yeah.
part of it though, too, because I do feel like, okay, your parents are paying your copay every week and um, we got to show progress. But I do communicate with his mom and there has been progress, but little tiny baby steps over the past 2 years. But there's definitely progress. So
It's exciting to see progress.
mhm.
I wonder what comes up for you inside as you kind of hear him say, yeah, my mom tells me I need to try harder with the copay.
I'm like, well, then do it. No, I don't say that. I'm just like, well, we just kind of reiterate what we're doing, what we're working on. And yeah. So,
I
and I
wonder,
think a lot of what comes up with me is impatience. And I felt it a lot, even just doing this recording last night. Um, just feeling very impatient, like, oh, just tell me there's no change. Tell me there's no change, because, and it didn't happen for a while. And I was feeling very impatient, but then I was able to also calm myself and be more present. And then I felt like that's probably more effective. But I could definitely feel all the impatience inside of me. So, and she and I talked about that afterwards too. I really like working with her because she's so skilled in EMDR herself that she gives really good feedback. So, but that definitely, the impatience comes up for me a lot.
And I wonder how that affects you in the room as a therapist.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm not, I mean, yeah, I'm finding it more, I mean, not like in my regular therapy sessions, but the EMDR, it's like, I want to see, I want to see this progress now. So just need to realize it doesn't happen that way.
That's a very cognitive response, isn't that?
Mhm.
I just need to realize it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wonder if he feels that kind of impatience from you doing EMDR. I wonder if he picks up on that.
I don't know. He might, yeah. Because sometimes but he's also just, he'll say like, like, I know this isn't what you want to hear. Like he'll just, so he probably senses some, I don't know. So that's all.
Wonder what settles your impatience. Oh, Liz has something. I was wondering if
Oh,
you're going to say something, Liz.
I can't help it just with it kind of has it's fragments then started to become more clear, a kind of visual image for me as you were describing the client handing in copay and my mom's almost like uh, yarn, like all tangled up in a ball, not a neatly rolled up ball, but all messed up ball. And the ball itself wants to untangle, and there are several shovels. Just keep shoveling it, and rolling, 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 and the ball never gets a break to truly untangle. That's what came to me. What do you notice as you hear this?
yeah. And I do think that's a lot of how it feels working with him. But then there are some weeks where I feel like it does untangle. And it's a good feeling for both of us because I know he can feel it too. And so really it's just being present in the moment with him because I never know how that's going to go. So, but yeah, that's a good way of um, symbolizing my work with him. His mom would probably agree to that too. But no, they're a great family. He's a great young man. Just yeah, has a lot to keep working on.
Sure. You know, the part that, as Liz was saying and hearing you, is like, if he's the ball, my thought is it's like now you've got like six hands and they're trying to untangle the ball all at once.
Mhm.
Wonder what the ball's feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I guess that's the boss answer. If I blame myself, I keep punishing myself, and that's helping the others to untangle.
yeah.
So, what does the ball really need?
That was actually my question too. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I assume like he's the ball, right? Um, I don't, just the first thing that came to my mind was self-compassion because he's just, and it's the whole, like I had talked about forgiveness. He just holds everything like a steel trap and will not let it go. So, but coming back to like what he had disclosed to me a week or so ago about what his dad had said to him, it was pretty horrible. And that's stuck in there as well. So yeah.
yeah,
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah. The answer concept really, yeah, for, to me, that's the way to we often hear a client just needs self-compassion. We just need self-compassion to ourselves. Yet if we don't truly appreciate what we do was developed as an answer to our circumstances, was adaptive, then we can't get to that
Mhm.
compassion. Only when he is now seeing, oh, I was born blank slate, then this message was the first or really early programming. Of course, I ran with it. And my answer of keep punishing myself was all built on that.
Mhm.
That gets us to underneath the answer.
Mhm. Did I tell you guys last time about the cat story? Did I tell you that? Oh,
Um,
okay. You would have remembered. So this is just, I'll try to make it a quick story, but part of his daily rituals, they have a lot, they're out in the country. They have a lot of feral cats that live around the neighborhood, and he loves these cats. And there was one who is blind and deaf, and that he just felt like he had to protect this cat. So he has these morning rituals that he does. Like when his mom leaves for work, he stands on the porch and he does like hand gestures and flapping, and he feels that's what's protecting the cats, keeping them safe. So maybe about 6 months ago, mom was gone, dad was leaving, and so he went out on the porch to do his ritual, and because that's what he believes keeps the cat safe. And dad yelled at him, told him to get back in the house. And I kid you not, dad pulled out and he killed the blind and deaf cat.
oh,
I know. So that just, yeah, 2 steps forward, like 100 steps back. Because that just like validated in his mind, like I have to do these rituals because I didn't. My dad wouldn't let me, and he ran over the cat, and the cat died. So yeah. So anyway, that's the cat story.
that is quite the
Isn't
interesting
that
cat
horrible?
story.
When his
Yeah,
mom told me, I was just like, oh God, no. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Good work noticing what's coming up for you and him. And as Liz is saying, is wondering what the ball needs. It's really how can we identify that and then supply that missing piece,
Mhm.
the missing piece to help him, that missing experience that he needed to help him work through these processes, those feelings.
Mhm.
I'm
Liz
noticing,
has,
yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
noticing what what a what a signal or message to shut his emotions. If he was worried about the cat or
Mhm.
protecting the cat, and all these behaviors were out of the care and concern, then that's so powerful that dad sends a message. What you're feeling is not, there's no space for that. You
Mhm.
shouldn't be feeling this.
Mhm.
I wonder if you see that as a part of his answer.
Oh,
Shuts right
absolutely.
down.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. So
And
definitely just going a little farther with him after we met last time about his dad, it uncovered a lot that I didn't know, the things that had been said to him and that had happened. So I knew the cat story, but it was years and years ago that his dad had said other things to him that, yeah.
yeah, one thought is this kind of answer, like it truly just so harshly cutting off from feeling,
Mhm.
invalidating, no space, that almost itself takes time for safer space to feel just a little bit and not feel, to feel just a little bit and come back and appreciate every time you automatically feel something and not feeling. Wonderful. Your system is protecting you.
Mhm.
Um, that itself is a really strong protective answer, and it takes time to truly appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Becky, sharing all that and bringing up the idea that these are still struggles you have. It takes a lot of courage to
Mhm.
bring that back up twice because you're doing awesome.
Thank
We're
you.
all a work in progress here.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you updates on him next time, but I probably will need to really consult with about this 17-year-old girl that I'm going to start working with EMDR. So
I look forward to whatever feels right for you.
yeah,
This will be
okay.
great. Whatever feels good for you. Alyssa, how are you feeling? Would you be okay to go?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember what I'm going about.
Is there a case, we'll just talk, this is kind of case conceptualization, helping you
Yeah, I
with
didn't
whatever.
submit one. Um, I didn't really have one to submit really.
Okay.
I mean, I have one I could talk about probably if you want me to, but
It's up to you. This is your time. I'm here to help you with any questions, answers that you may have.
mm, yeah, I don't know. Nothing is on the top of my mind at the moment.
Yeah.
I
I
think
wonder if,
maybe,
go ahead.
oh, um, I think maybe more like related towards like the client I submitted videos on or a video on maybe is more what I'd have a question about.
Perfect. I wonder how you're doing right now in this moment. Are you okay? What are you noticing
Yeah, I'm
coming up
just
for you?
tired. I have a headache. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Sorry,
You're okay.
but I am listening.
You're doing okay. That's okay. There's a lot here. Um, well, if we want to, what we could do, this could be a good transitional break. Um, for maybe go to the bathroom, grab a drink, whatever you need. Uh, think 10 minutes, 5 minutes. What do you think, Liz? Anybody? Perfect. Well,
Whatever you guys need.
go ahead,
About
Becky.
I said, whatever you guys
minutes
need.
to the half an hour mark, to the full hour mark. We started 1:30, so come back to 31.
31. Perfect. See y'all in about 5 minutes. Hello. Welcome everyone back.
Hmm.
Come back. Give it just a second. Oh, Why don't we start, Becky? Are you okay if you just start? Let her kind of
Yeah.
jump in. You can maybe share your video. I wonder if you
Okay.
have any questions.
I should have pulled it up.
Okay. Are there any questions, thoughts, feelings that you would like us to look for,
Dwayne,
answer for?
can I make a suggestion?
Uh-huh.
Um, we didn't, since Becky, you didn't submit a reflection form, why don't we, maybe you can start with the reflection questions before we go
Okay.
in. Just reflect it on as you go.
Okay. What are I don't have it pulled up. What exactly the questions are?
I can read, or Dwayne, do you have it open?
I can get it open. Yeah, right
My
there.
video up too while you guys are. That's funny because I kept saying like I know I'm forgetting to do something. That's what it was.
That's okay. This all still works. Where do I go?
Hey, is it not pulling up? There,
I
I
have the
think it is.
reflection questions if you want me to read them one by
I think I was able.
I mean,
I'm not sure if that was to us. So,
Oh, the video. Is that what you're talking about?
mhm,
Yeah, no, it started playing when I pulled it up.
got you. Okay, good. Um, so, um, the reflection questions are just kind of a brief client history. Um, are we try and kind of a brief where are we at in the process? What phase are you in with today?
The we did 3 through 7,
Okay.
and it's still the same gal. I don't really know much about her, so
Same gal, perfect.
Mary. So, um,
And was a cognitive interused during this cognitive interweave used?
no, and actually, she and I talked about that more afterward. It just about um, me feeling more comfortable, recognizing when it is needed. Um, and because she was explaining like just how much more helpful it will be when I'm comfortable using those. So if I did, I don't recognize it. I felt very scripted. Like I just was trying to follow the script and the protocol. So I felt like there wasn't a lot of anything else added in. It was just going through the phases.
Okay. And what did you do well?
Um, I feel like I said, I felt like very mechanical, just kind of following the script. I know that's not wrong. It felt different. Um, and like I had said earlier, just feeling impatient. Um, and I did make a mistake, like toward the end. Like I had used like negative cognition when it should have been positive, but I caught myself, and um, so she was cool about that. She's just very supportive and helpful. I don't know. I didn't feel like, I mean, I kind of sometimes hope like, please don't go super deep tonight. Like I was exhausted last night, and I always kind of preface it with that, like you don't really need to go deep, but then she does. And so it was, and we talked afterward, and she was like, wow, that was really helpful. Like, she's like, I've never processed it that way. And, but yeah, so being patient and allowing her to do that and not just looking at it as an assignment, like, come on, we just got to get this done. So that's something I definitely need to remember. So yeah, that's kind of the summary of how it went.
Okay.
It's hard for me because I'm like looking at the script next to me, trying to focus on her, trying not to forget what to say, trying to be present, trying not to think about, a million other things going on. So I think that's what I struggle with the most, is just being present.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Well, I wonder if that's part of your answer. Well, let's start with your client's answer. How does your client's answer show up?
Um, I don't know. I would have to think about that more and think more what her answer even is. Um, you mean how it shows up when we're in the process together?
Yes.
I think just her answer showing up as wanting to be heard and understood. Mhm.
Right. And how did your answer show up?
Um, just being impatient and like wanting to control it, but I can't. Um, and I mean, and part of my answer is like always injecting or interjecting a sense of humor. And it's hard for me because I can't do that. So yeah, my answer is like very typical life of the party. Um, so that's where I want to go with things a lot. Um, yeah, because it's fun. So um, yeah, so
Perfect. Well, thank you for being open about that. Why don't you start the video and share it with us?
okay, and this is another technology thing I'm not good at. So
Have I made you co-host?
I don't know what y'all
Let's
do.
see if I
I
did.
think
I don't think we have. Hold on one second. I'll
I
help
think
you.
everyone can share screen
Can
without,
they?
yeah, yes.
Oh, okay.
That's my default setting. Yeah.
Okay. It's so funny because whenever I pull up like my YouTube feed, it's embarrassing because it makes it look like I look at all these political videos and I'm not. So I am always embarrassed to share my screen because I'm like, I'm really not spending my life watching these.
We understand.
Okay.
Just be careful saying politics near your computer. You're gonna get that stuff. It's listening to you.
It probably is. And that's probably why it's like, here, she wants to watch all these stupid videos.
I'm hearing is that we all feel we are the only one, or we are, yeah. But what you just said is basically happening to everyone these days.
Right. Okay. So now, can you see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to go to a certain part of it? Okay. Okay, Mary. Tonight we're going
Well, were
to
there any
really
questions
one
about
of the
parts,
things we
specific
talked
things that
about.
came up that you'd like some feedback on?
Let me look at this real quick. Hmm. Not necessarily, because I just felt like I really followed the script.
Perfect.
Nothing really comes up because, like I said, it felt like very.
Perfect. So I've only glimpsed through your the script.
Yeah.
And it looks like you did the mechanics. Why don't you Um,
I think maybe more toward like the end of phase 4,
okay.
where she's finally saying like unchanged, unchanged. And then I felt like I kind of tripped up a little bit. Like, I don't know, like I was getting confused there.
Perfect. Well, why don't we move to, I'm trying to quickly look through this. Um, looks like about, she does talk a lot, doesn't she?
There's a lot of silence too. That makes me not uncomfortable, but again, test the patience. A lot of silence, but I feel like she stops and closes her eyes and is really thinking. So I appreciate that. I do. Um, so it does take a while.
So it looks like kind of starting around minute 7. So you did the processing and kind of coming up with, why don't you move to like minute 6 or something? We can kind of see you start beginning phase 3. Um, and then we'll jump to that.
I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so what words go best with that picture that express your negative belief about yourself now?
Um,
Do you want me to go farther ahead?
That's this good part. This is part of phase 3.
Okay.
but it's coming up the most right now is like I don't understand, like I'm confused.
So what does that have you believe about yourself? Or do you think you were believing about yourself at that time?
Um,
Can I read the question to you again? So what words go best with that picture that express your negative belief about yourself now?
I'm curious. Do you want to pause on it? I wonder what's coming up for you now as you're watching this little interaction.
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah. Well, and then also just kind of like, oh, is she not into this? And then like feeling guilty that she's helping me, like a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, just the impatience.
Okay. And as
Yeah.
you're watching that, I wonder if some of those worries are still there. If you worry she's
Now?
not into it.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of watching her more closely too. No, I just think she's a very insightful person, and it's not me. It's just how she is. So
And with that thought, I wonder if what that changes in you. I wonder if something shifts in you.
yeah, it's a shift. Yeah. And you know, realizing like everybody's different and not everybody's going to react and act the same way. So
Perfect. I love how patient you're being. It's hard when there's a lot of silence there.
it is. And there's so much. And then I'm like, do I need to repeat the question? Do I just keep being quiet? So that's why I think a couple times I may have, after a minute, like interjected something, like tried to rephrase it, but at the same time, I don't want to interrupt her thoughts. So yeah, silence is hard.
Silence can be powerful and hard.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
Do you want me to
perfect.
go
Yeah, why
to
don't you
another part?
yeah, why don't you move forward a little bit and we can see the eye movement pieces. And if you know where, I was trying to find it on
And they go on for a while, so I'll just kind of maybe go.
But she said, you know, Barry's not even gonna remember me.
Okay, go with
And
that. Go with that. What are you noticing now?
sadness.
Go with that. What are you noticing now?
Um, that a lot of the memories I have of that, like my childhood, started like in age 10. So even the memories that I have of that house, my aunt's house where they told us that she died, and my grandma's house where she lived, are not when she was there. So a lot of those memories that I have are with, like, my Aunt Janice and my grandpa when I got older. It's just strange that there was a you know, whole different life there, that that she was a part of and I was a part of, and clearly got some hold on me. And
Okay, go with that.
Why don't we move a little further and let's see what else comes up.
I was trying to think, like, what would she say to me during that time? But I don't know. Right? I don't know. I do not know the answer to that.
Go with that. What are you noticing now?
So, how good it feels to, like, be set apart.
Go
Okay,
with that.
let's pause it real quick. I'm curious what's coming up for you right now as you're watching these different parts.
I feel more compassion toward her. Like just seeing how vulnerable she is. Like, again, like I feel like when I'm doing this video, I'm so focused on the mechanics and what I'm doing. And now, like, watching it is like she's so vulnerable, and she's really yeah, I don't know, just allowing herself to go through the process. So
And can we appreciate that?
oh yeah.
This is hard for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to be in that moment and to be in our head and be like, oh, we got so many things to going on, and
Mhm.
am I doing this right? And yet you're still able to help. I think that's fantastic.
Right. And in the meantime, she's like really talking about some really difficult things. And clearly it's emotional for her. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
think these moments give me hope as a therapist personally, because it's like I don't have to be in my A game all the time.
yeah. Because
Um,
we're not.
you can't be.
Some days we are, but some days it's just not feeling it. Like I can't explain CBT for the life of me, but some days I can really do it. Um, yeah, do
Perfect.
you want me to go just a
Yeah,
little further ahead.
sure. Do you know, yeah, do you have that place where no change is at?
I mean, it goes pretty quickly to it. Once we get there, let me just maybe
Yeah.
try here.
Can I just also echo that even though we emphasize following the script, emphasize staying out of the way, mostly I think staying out of the way is what we, like this model, we get to. As you notice the impatience, as you notice some discomfort, and you just recognize that's something, it's here for you. You don't have to do anything and
Mhm.
just allow the healing happen. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's still hard to not to provide that comfort or validation, but just to like watch somebody feel the hard emotions and not be able to provide comfort or support, to just kind of make them continue doing it. Um, so
How, yeah, how is that? How, I wonder what's stirring up for you to just keep going in towards the hard part.
um I guess, I mean, on one hand, it's like it's hard to watch people struggle with sadness and feeling deep hard emotions. But on the other hand, it's like it's helpful and she needs this. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it now. This model really, people walk through their life the hardest and the most joyful, and
mhm,
then they always come to the resolution, right?
mhm,
We stopping them, managing the pain or helping them only kind of interferes with the deeper layer being cleaned up.
mhm,
And we probably, and we all have some vulnerability of being with pain without doing anything. That probably brings
mhm,
up hard stuff for us. And that's
mhm.
again, recognize and just be with. Yeah, beautiful. I think you are doing great.
I do.
You want me to?
Well, yeah, let's see if we have that stuck part, because that was the question you said when she kept saying no change. And maybe if we can't find it, I wonder if it's something that you could kind of explain what was coming up for you in that stuck part.
Um, Let me just see what part we're at.
Not gonna think about it. Oh,
Okay, go with that. So she's still feeling.
it's strange to like think of those memories as, you know, not dealing with your emotions, right? Because it seems like you're just being supported, right? Everybody was being supported the same way, which is just being there. It was mostly just being there. there weren't ever a lot of like, you know, those moments on TV when somebody has that speech or somebody has that like perfect thing to say, you know, like your dad has this thing that he says, or your
Did
mom
she
has
get
it.
all the way through phase
It
7,
wasn't
you
like that,
said?
but
Like
it would.
through body
Yeah.
scan?
Yeah.
She got a clear body scan on this. Okay, so what came up for you then she kept repeating no change or anything? What
Well, it
was
was only, I mean, it was because I was trying to like say, okay, she can say that twice. And then I'm trying to watch, like look at which part do I go to? What do I ask? So it wasn't so much, I was glad to hear that I was relieved to hear no change. But at the same time, I was kind of like frantically like, ooh, what do I do? So it was just at like part C, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, the check SUD that. Um, and then I think the ending went fairly smoothly. She kind of helped me at the end in phase 7 because she just was like, okay, like 1 and 2, or if it wasn't complete, she said, but it is, so go to 3. So she just kind of helped me with that. But I think those went pretty smoothly otherwise.
perfect. So it's more of like what's the step when they're stuck? How do we help them? Is that
Yeah.
what the question
Well, I don't
is?
think she was stuck. I think she was finally reporting like no change, like she
Change.
wasn't feeling, yeah. So,
And you felt
yeah.
relief.
Yeah, because I mean, I kept waiting for her to say that, and then it was something else, something else, something else, which is fine. But it's just, again, patience and just, going with it. So,
You're exactly right. And that's how I'd echo with what exactly Liz said a second ago.
mhm,
Is that this is us getting out of the way and letting the the client take care of themselves.
mhm,
Let their system manage itself.
mhm,
And sometimes there's not much shifting happening. It takes a second of that processing and then it'll work its way out eventually. I
mhm,
mean, if you got a clear body scan, well done.
mhm.
Um,
Thank you.
you're doing great.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing this one with us today.
Yeah, and
Appreciate that.
I appreciate Mary being willing to do this, knowing because she's gone through this process, knowing that the video is shared and all of that. So she's awesome to work with.
She really is.
Mhm.
So that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much on that. You did a great job on that.
Thank you.
Alyssa, are you ready to go?
How do I get this?
So there's a stop sharing at the top. Well, I don't know. Mine's always at the top.
It is, yes.
No, I think I pulled it up. I wonder if I closed it.
Uh, you want me to share the video or?
Well, what are you saying? What did I do? I moved something on my screen. I don't know what I moved. Maybe it was the video changing. Because I was looking to the left at the um, reflection form.
Oh, do you want me to
Um,
share that?
oh, I can read over it. Um, what? Um, yeah, why don't we just start with that? It might be good to keep everybody on the same page real quick. Why don't you share where you're at, what you're curious about?
Is that it
Oh,
pulled
that
up
was
right
where
now?
that white thing. Yeah, hey.
Okay. Um, so yeah, working with Alex still. We're still working. Well, we did the touchstone memory. We finished the route under the answer because we were going to try to like really dig more. There was that red water bottle, which led us to some deeper memories, younger memories. So we did get one with a primary caregiver. So I'm hoping I went with the right memory. We didn't use that one as the target. So that's where my questioning of self came in was whether or not I did the right memory. So I verbally questioned that when we went into phase 3, or sorry, from the root under the answer to phase 3, when we were like picking the memory for what was the touchstone, I was like, I don't know if we should be going with the water bottle one or the one of you, being 2 years old and remembering your brother coming home.
Just so
So
I'm understanding, which memory did you go with? Did you go with the youngest one or?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was hesitant because she didn't fully remember if that was actually a real memory, but I know that that doesn't actually matter, but that was with a caregiver. So I was like, okay, we will go with that. So I was kind of thinking out loud, so I wouldn't have done that if I could do it again. The cognitive interweave I did was when she was upset with herself, like, how could I have poked my brother in the eye? You know what I mean? Like, what else would I have done to him? I just said, like, let's remember, how old you were. Um, I think that's a cognitive interweave. I
Maybe
was trying,
working.
trying to bring logic. Um, Her answer showed up because she asked during part of it if she was doing the right thing. She's like, I think I'm doing this right. Something
Right.
along those lines.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Perfect. Well, why don't you, I'm pulling up over on this other side of my screen. Um,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, why or what is it you're feeling like you don't want to think out loud next time?
Oh, I don't want to think out loud like, should we go with this memory or that memory? Like, obviously, you're supposed to go with the younger memory. Why was I like so questioning about that? But I think it's because we were like, oh, that red water bottle memory. She kept going back to it. Maybe that's the one we need to go with. But then she ended up identifying something younger. So, on one side, I was like fixated that I think I went into the session thinking that's the one we were going to end up going towards. But then she identified as something younger. And so I had to think out loud, I guess. I don't know. And that's just kind of embarrassing that I didn't just be like, duh.
I'm now wondering, having to have a plan going in and having to know what's the right thing to do, having to, yeah, have a roadmap for the client. Does that sound like a answer to you?
Yeah, like a general plan. Like I like to kind of think like, okay, this is where we're going, kind of. Yeah. Which is very unrealistic in therapy.
Amen.
Because they might be like, oh, I don't want to do EMDR today.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Then what's the new experience?
What's the new experience?
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
Well, what I see and hear is that you actually really just be in the moment collaborating with the client. You actually found out more information and just went with what came up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a true collaboration. It was working with the material coming up right there instead
Right.
of having a conceived or planned out.
Yeah, it's true.
It was everything I think went however it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with collaborating or talking out loud about what memory, maybe.
Does that feel like a new experience?
Yeah.
Trusting.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you, Becky and Liz. You want to go ahead and start wherever you feel like you'd like to begin?
Wonder where we should begin. I don't really know where to begin. We did have another session since this that I did record. So we did not finish processing during, like, we did not get through phase 7 or anything. This was an incomplete session. We ended this session on a 6. And then we had another session since then with this memory on a 2. I don't know if that's worth anything, but
Perfect.
It's-
Start where it feels right to you.
just pick a random spot.
Why not actually let's see how you started with phase 3, kind of the beginning. Let's start at the
Oh, okay.
beginning. Let's see you get toward the NCE. So that this will be
Question,
within.
sorry. Another, just clarifying. Alyssa, did you say that you didn't end with phase 7?
Correct. This was not complete.
Well,
And
this is just a part of the information, maybe a little not clear. We always end our session with phase 7.
oh,
I think-
sorry. Yes, we
Yeah.
did end with phase 7, but we did
Okay.
not end with phase 6. Like we didn't get it, like we didn't complete the memory.
Okay, so even though it's an
Sorry.
incomplete memory, you did wrap up with phase 7.
Yes, I did.
All right.
And then we restarted the next session with 8 and went from there.
Well done. This will be probably around minute 2 or 3 looking at this. We're talking about
Isn't playing?
it is not.
Dang it, I just had this problem last time was that the sound I have to share.
Yes. It's on the audio. Yeah, share
Ooh.
computer audio.
Focus. Oh, share sound. There we go. I am jealous. Okay. So hand up. Yeah. Okay, that's if you need to stop.
Okay.
Cool.
And I might need to stop just if it's like,
If you're just like I'm done or
Okay.
I need a break or
have a question or something.
yeah. Or maybe you need to pee. Dang it. Keep skipping out. Represents the worst part.
The worst part?
Yeah.
Me? Maybe?
You. Okay. And what words go best with that picture that express the negative belief you have about yourself now?
Jealous?
I am jealous.
Insignificant? Unsupportive? Mm, disappointing?
And when you bring up that picture, what would you prefer to believe about yourself instead?
I'm excited. I have a new friend.
What are you noticing right now? Let's pause that. I wonder what's coming up for you.
I'm letting her talk too much. Like I need to stop her from going on, maybe.
Okay.
Because I let her, she like with the negative cognition, she kept going, and I let her because I knew I can tell when she has to keep going. So I was making space for that, but maybe I didn't need to let her say 4 different things. So I'm like, why did I do that? But in her right now, I'm noticing her start to get activated.
Right. What's coming up inside you right now? I'm curious by that.
I'm wondering why I let her go on.
Wonder if voice of criticism's loud sometimes when we reflect on when you reflect on what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's hard.
Yeah. I'm very critical.
Very critical, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I agree. She is definitely activated. Isn't that our goal?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It seems like, the Alyssa in the video seemed to have a good sense of what was going on there, of the feelings in the room,
Yeah.
because she let it go and get activated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe that is, okay, but also I'm like, I don't know. Was it necessary?
Right. Right. Well, I think you're doing pretty good. The only potential answer to one of those is it necessary questions would be sometimes I like to reflect backwards when I get like 4 NCs. And I'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, I wonder which one stings more.
Yeah, that's a good question to ask for sure. I like that.
And, it's not necessarily, I don't know if it's right or wrong. That's just my stylistic idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I take that as a idea. I think you're connecting. She's doing well. Why don't we move to some eye movements? Let's see how that goes. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah.
What are you noticing now? It's like spreading out from my chest and up the parts, but like diffusing. It's not getting bigger, it's just spreading. Go with that. I'm ready for this one now. I'm just, I don't know, feeling worried, I guess. Like, if what my parents told me is true, that I poked my brother in the eye when he came home from the hospital, like, what else could I have done to the baby?
remember how old you
Yeah.
were. It's just not a stuff, okay?
It's hard to focus with Mac Miller going out there. Yeah. What do you
School building problems.
School
Somebody was-
building problems, huh?
Somebody was painting in the office outside of it. That's why that ladder squeak, and they were playing music.
Well, what are you noticing coming up right now for you?
Well, that's like I deal with that stuff all the time when I'm doing EMDR or, therapy in general at school, and that drives me nuts, actually. But there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
But I'm really glad that she stopped me or stopped. She did the stop signal and said like that's distracting her. So I asked them to turn it down and we continued on.
Right. What do you notice happening inside the room right now as you're watching it?
Well, I got up to go ask them to turn it down. I don't know.
Right. How do you think you're doing?
Right now?
Yeah. As you're watching this right now, what do you see? Do you feel okay? What are you curious about?
I hope that it's okay that I like when after process, like after the eye movements, I like give it a few seconds before I ask, like, what are you noticing? Because it's just like you can tell the heaviness, and I don't like to like bombard them right away with a question. I just like to be like okay, like give that just yeah, like let them see what they're noticing for a second. So I hope it's okay that I kind of pause like that because I do feel like, that's it's just a hard thing to do to just be like, what are you noticing? Um,
Seems like
and
you're
then
very attuned to what's going on inside the room.
yeah, I try to be.
God.
And then I hope it's okay that I like just say like take a breath. Sometimes I add that in.
How does she respond to that?
Yeah. And it seems like a relief, I guess, when a client, like when I say that to clients, like usually they're like, okay, yeah, I can take a breath, and I usually do it when I notice that they're not taking a breath.
Oh, so you're attuned to even what else is happening is that they're not breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of help them with the breathing part too.
Yeah.
This is hard and you're doing great. I want to lead with that and always end with that. You're doing great.
Well, thanks.
She clearly has a great connection with you. I just wonder about that piece that's personal, and you don't need to share anything or at all. It's all totally up to you what you feel comfortable sharing. That piece that am I doing it right? That I need to make sure it's perfect. I
Mm.
wonder if that shows up in lots of areas of your life.
Oh yeah. I'm always like, am I a good mom? And yeah, always.
Yeah. And I wonder if that shows up in the room when you're with them.
Probably.
And I
I try
wonder
to be
what,
mindful, but
for sure. And I wonder what that piece needs to relax, because I'm just a voice on the other side of the screen telling you you're doing awesome, which you are. But I wonder what piece would help you relax that part. would feed that part for you?
Just knowing if I'm doing something wrong, knowing that I'd be told if I was doing something wrong. Um, and probably a high dose is all. No, I'm just kidding. Vacation. I'm on vacation. No, I'm honestly good. Like I know I just have to verbalize it and I'm good.
Oh, I like that part. Knowing that part's good. To just put it out there and verbalize it.
Mhm.
I'm glad. Because really, what I see is a job well done.
That's good.
I th Liz has something. Why don't you go, Liz?
After you finish this part, yeah.
Well, all I was gonna say was, I think for me, if I were to say anything to you is, I like that you can be present in the room, that you're aware of that. And that's all I would want for any new therapist on any level, but on
Mhm.
this level too. It's very important to just be you. And I see that you're doing it, and I love that part. So that's about all I had to say, Liz. What were you going to say?
Um, Going back to the client, um, that that was a very appropriate interwave you introduced, the present moment awareness. How old are you, or how old were you back then, right? And what I heard was the client still so self-critical, right?
Yeah.
Right. Then I'm just then the next set, the client um, got distracted. I'm just curious. I wonder if that was also could be part of the answer.
Yeah. Because the
Going
music was
so
going on like the whole time.
right, we just uh, we just through this lens, whatever is happening could be related to the memory. If there were, you probably also had sessions. There were distractions or things uncomfortable, but if the client is in it, they can be in it. They can continue. And there were times the client get to some hard sparks part and get distracted. Um,
Hmm.
so it's totally appropriate if something you can control, bring it volume down or remind the construction to be more mindful. But there were also other times that we don't necessarily have control. Just maybe bringing up back to the awareness. Oh, yeah, just notice you got distracted, or um, that could be just, is it okay to notice you got distracted? Um,
Yeah.
Another thought was, hmm, especially with parents, when they are so self-critical for even the little one, I can sometimes bring up, what if it was your 3-year old?
Hmm.
What would you think of a 3-year-old getting so curious about
Yeah.
little brother, little sister? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like that self-critical was another layer of answer showing up.
Yeah. Actually, I think one of her three things is self-doubt. So
Yeah. But um, is it okay we stop here and get
yeah.
to the assignment doing?
Yes, that's great. Great
Yeah,
job. Thank you, Becky and Alyssa, for sharing with us today. And
Yeah.
Liz is
Thank
going to tell us the assignment for next time.
I'm totally agreeing with doing. Yes, both of you are doing great. The clients, the key is the client feels safe enough. You both got to earlier memories, and like the activation is here as phase 3, and they're going deeper. That's all it matters, really. We emphasize following the script, emphasize our own awareness, and this is what all that matters. The client gets the condition is right and the client's healing is happening. So wherever you are, incomplete session, go back to phase 8 and go back from phase 8, you can go back to phase 4 or phase 5. If it's complete session, you can pick up on another memory, or if it's a complete session, phase 8, you may still look, and the client may come back with disturbance. Then you go back and treat it as an incomplete session. Nothing is we can plan for, but we have different scenarios. Now that you know going through, you are following the script and you are aware of what's coming up for you. I invite you to really be mindful, be attuned to the client. Have the liberty of going longer or shorter, whether to pause, take a deep breath with the client if they are at the edge of the window of tolerance, or just what are you noticing? Keep going. What are you noticing? Keep going. Use your clinical judgment, use the moment, present moment information to guide you. Continue to deepen your curiosity about what's coming up for you. That's either some past being present, being triggered, or an answer trying to manage pain or discomfort. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
And have fun. And remind yourself you're doing awesome.
Right, continue to notice the new experiences
Yes.
you are already having. Yeah.
Well, thank you all. We will see you August, I'm going to say that again, September 18th.
Yep.
You guys.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Have a great month.
Thanks, you too.
Next month.
Bye. Well, that went pretty well.
I think so too. Yeah.
So
How are you?
that was fun. That one was obvious I couldn't prepare much. And so it's always like, okay, here I go flying by the seat of my pants. Um, some of my goals off of last month, the reflections from last month, he was like, make sure you're encouraging them. I worked real hard and I went back to it and I watched lots of Deb's things and that mindfulness of, separating it out, the external stuff and bringing it to the present moment was one that I was like, okay, I'm hoping this will be good. I don't quite know if it helped Alyssa much. She was definitely having a brother in the ER was a lot for her to handle. Um, and so that was very there was a lot of anxiety in the room today. I don't know that I always find it here. I don't know if it's all mine either. Um, what else did I notice? I'm looking at my notes of what else I put on there from last month to work on. I tried to work on that I'm noticing piece, or inviting them um, piece. So those were kind of my goals. Like I was more self of the therapist that was my own thought was helping them understand themselves in the room
Mhm.
early on. I find that's one of the big concerns when we're doing the assistant training um, for those trainings that we do. Helping them understand it's okay to feel these big emotions in the room. I thought, I wonder how that would play out here. So that was one of my curiosities too. So those are kind of what I came up with. I wonder what you noticed or came up for you.
I really like the you keep brain just right now. What are you noticing? Yeah. And from that, materials come up. You slow down the time, not having like even not prepared at all. This actually helps you to be able to just use whatever is coming up. Whatever they reflected on the form, maybe now it's a different moment. Now they are watching, and now they have a different layer of awareness. That's really the beauty of the present moment. Um, and yeah, trusting not being prepared, and it still goes well.
Yeah. I thought it went real well. I liked how you, I really liked today, and I was going to reflect this to you, was Alyssa's, it was outright anger and frustration at the process of having to do the script. And I was like, not the script, but the transcript. And I was like,
Mm,
yeah, uh, she-
I
that
heard you
was,
apologizing.
yes. And I was like, ah, I got, I tried so hard. That actually came up. I was helping Wanda
Ah,
on one, and she's like, "Okay, Dwayne, we're gonna do this no question, and you can't say I'm sorry." It just shoots out there, and I'm like, ah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still curious that 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 part of you want to make it well, help them to feel a little more comfortable, help them to feel more centered.
I think it's yes, I think comfortable is a good part of it, but also heard. Um, Apologies definitely weren't a part of my family, and and so I want them to understand that I understand that it's terrible, but my apologies, it, the thing I do not want to convey, but often is conveyed in my apology, is I'm sorry this is bad. Let me take that away from you. I want to say I am sorry that it is so hard because I know you're busy. But I don't also, but I want to put a but. This is really important too.
Mm,
But then I feel like, okay, now you're saying, I get in my head whenever I do that. And it's like, okay,
mm,
crap, I said I'm sorry. Now if I say but, I'm negating their whole
mm.
experience. And so because sometimes I get tripped up on that. Uh,
As I'm hearing this, I'm feeling the weight on your shoulder. It's almost all your responsibility, causing them to have this burden or having to relieve that burden from them.
mhm. Well, we're jumping right into a resource, but as you say that, what comes up for me is the idea that I do like to help people and I don't want to be a burden on anybody. Um, I want it to be me being able to help others and be strong because independence was a very big part of what was important to us growing up.
Hearing that, I'm wondering, I have an urge to say a few words to you. I'm curious how this will be landed or really received.
Um, well, hearing you say that, I'm definitely curious about the words. Um, and let me reflect on that for a second. You know, hearing, reflecting, I think the first thing I checked in on is, well, I always check my chest. That's where I hold chest and my middle of my back. Those are where I
Mm,
hold my emotions. If it's other people's emotions, it's usually back there. I know
mm.
that. And if it's mine, it's here. Uh, but I realized I'm okay with that. I'm actually more interested in hearing it because it's, and I hope this is okay for me to say, but it's safe for you to say it to me. Um,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of people I can say that I would be like, I don't really want to hear what you have to say. There, I would just shut it down. But for hearing you say that, it's like, no, I feel pretty good with it.
I'm noticing tenderness in myself.
Good.
Actually, the words I'm still kind of formulating, but um, yeah,
Hearing that, it makes me actually feel good inside too. It helps with lessen the tension that's always there.
you are gonna be okay. You are okay. Just holding space. No more, nothing else you have to do. That's enough.
You know, hearing that brought me back to a conversation Sarah and I had yesterday. Um, because those words were very well received, and I was telling Sarah that, this last month we've had a lot of things going on, and things are great, but we still got headwinds sometimes. And I told her I'm leaning into the headwinds, and but those words are words that are like, and I mean, Sarah echoed those same words in her own unique way, and saying, we've been here, we're okay. Just be here with me, and we're gonna be fine.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you for, yeah, connecting that and sharing that with me. And hearing that, a pretty powerful memory came to me. I wonder if you are interested in hearing about it.
I would love to hear it.
That's when I was doing my internship at Community Mental Health and not really getting enough supervision and support from my supervisor. So I had to seek partly as from finding a personal therapist for myself, partially to supplement that supervision. And it was one client that opened up to me like a series of major losses in life on our first session. Of course, I got close to the client pretty quick, and the client was a senior, close to the end of their life, and then months later, they end up in the nursing home. No one really even visits them from the family. I was like trying to visit and feeling so cold, and what else can I do? And my therapist and supervisor and support, you witnessing her pain, your love is enough. And I had to cling on to that. That was before even I knew about EMDR.
Hearing that story really touched my heart and helped me understand you and made me feel, again, that it helped me reassure that trusted feeling. It's like, okay, I'm doing things right. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening, connecting to that.
Yeah.
What a beautiful reflection.
Oh, this was a great reflection. Thank you for sharing that with me. That was really meaningful.
So much so much is just out of our control. We can try to take on responsibility or try to take care of things, and at the same time, it's gonna be okay. Everyone is gonna be okay if we can just bear witness of their whole experience, the deepest of the pain, the darkest of the darkness, loneliness, all that. And yeah,
Yeah, it's a great reminder. Thank you.
you're I'm gonna this is still gonna be recorded. I'm cut out this part, share a link. And you if you can try, yeah, send me the
Reflection forms,
yeah, feedback form
feedback forms. Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
within the week by Friday
I,
or
sh-
Saturday if
I should
possible.
have it. I have it actually scheduled in my calendar for me to do
Okay, see, new
tomorrow.
experience.
I'm learning.
Yeah, and I'll also have this part separate or extended version separate. You feel free to also send it to Deb or ask feedback from Deb. Yeah, we'll
Perfect.
come back next month.
All right. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. You're doing
Bye.
great.
Thank you. Bye.